Hi guys, today I want to talk about how to become a bestseller. Now, most people that desire to become an author desire to also become a best-selling author because there's so many benefits with becoming a best-selling author. First off, becoming a best-selling author helps you to really stand out in a saturated market. It's one thing to be an author, it's a totally different thing to be a best-selling author, right? Being a best-selling author often increases your sales because when you highlight that you're a best-selling author, that really showcases your expertise or that your book is extremely valuable. And then in turn, you likely increase your sales. And then finally, one of the greatest benefits of being a best-selling author is that you can grow a brand or scale your reach, meaning that when you become a best-selling author, you add that to your bio, then more people begin to reach out to you to ask you for speaking engagements or features, or you can begin to craft and create a business around that exact thing. For me personally, when I became a best-selling author, as you can see, I hit #1 and #2 on Amazon with both of my top two books, Devoted Dreamers and Quick Tips for Busy Women. I published these books on the same day, and within, I think it was about 4 hours, I hit #1 and #2. It was amazing. From there, people started reaching out to me left and right, asking me the strategy that I used to become a best-selling author. And from there, I've been able to coach people on writing, publishing, and prospering from their books. So I am walking proof that I created an entire brand and I scaled, much like this says, scaled my reach because I reached people all over the world for two little books that I wrote, so to speak. So there are tons of benefits. Now, what is a best-selling author? On Amazon, a best-selling author is anyone that reaches under 100 in their specific category. When you reach under 100 in your specific category, you hit what's called a bestseller ranking, okay? And that is featured right below your book. You get to take this great screenshot, showcase it all over social media, show your family, show your friends, like you made it. Look, Ma, I made it, right? It's super, super exciting. Any book that hits #1 in any given category will get that #1 bestseller banner that's featured next to the title. So this basically lets potential customers know that the book is a top selling item in that exact category. So awesome. How to become a New York Times bestselling author is basically to become a New York Times bestselling author, you need to sell somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 copies of your book in 1 week. In addition, there's a lot of rules about that. Like these sales have to be diverse, right? They cannot come from one place, like all from Amazon or all from Barnes and Nobles or one marketplace. And in addition, they can't be like pre-existing people. So a New York best time selling author is a little bit more complex, but again, when you simplify it, it's not that overwhelming. Today, I want to talk about how to become an Amazon bestselling author. So first things first is you want to find a topic that's something that people actually want to read, right? If you write a book about the different styles of hiking boots, that's probably not a book that people are going to be inspired to buy. And more importantly, it's also not a book that's evergreen. And what I mean by evergreen is like a book that's topic remains relevant all the time, throughout the ages. So you want to, hiking boots may change in a couple years, right? So you want to think about a topic that you're passionate about writing about, as well as a topic that people actually want to read. Then you want to write a great book. I know that that sounds very oversimplistic, but here's the reality. If you write a bad book, that's gonna showcase once you actually publish the book, because you might get a person here or there that buys it, but they won't really leave you good reviews. They won't really leave you reviews at all, maybe bad reviews, and then it can be difficult to continue to sell. You want a book that's so great that people cannot wait to promote it, can't wait to share it, can't wait to tell other people how life-changing the book really is for them so that other people want to read it. So write a book that is great. All right. This is why it's also important, again, to find a topic that is something that people actually want to read. All right. Then you want to create a searchable title and appealing cover. Now, this is important because books are 100% judged by their cover, meaning that if the cover does not, think about it, if someone's scrolling through Amazon and they see your cover, it needs to be able to pop out to them, whether that be the writing, the way it's formatted, the font, the color, the design. You want to make sure that it speaks to your audience. The last thing you want is a cover that blends or a cover that looks like an 8-year-old drew it. And I'm speaking from experience because my very first cover was really, really bad. I paid someone on an online website to make it, and I paid $5 for it, and it looks like I should have gotten my money. I should have gotten paid to use that cover instead of paying money to use it. So be careful about trying to skimp out on your cover, because that's really important. In addition, you want to make sure that you have a very detailed synopsis, because if people are interested or enticed by the cover they see when scrolling Amazon, they can click the book and then or Barnes and Nobles, and then they can click it, they open it, and then they're going to want to read more about it. So make sure the cover is appealing to your audience. You also want to make sure that you click the searchable or create a searchable title. Some people try to get really creative with titles, which is totally understandable, but you don't want to get so creative that your audience would never know where to find it. So create a searchable title that, you know, kind of references keywords or phrases or something that would entice your typical reader. Then this is where it begins to get really, really important. When you publish your book, you need to find a category that your book would best fit under. This is really important because there's a lot of different categories on Amazon, all right? And you want to make sure that you pick a category that matches your book, but also not a category that's oversaturated, because on Amazon, in order to be a best-selling author, you need to stand out in your particular category. So for example, personal development or self-help or business, those are very saturated categories, especially with big name authors. So you may want to find a subcategory that fits underneath that. Here's an example of what this looks like. This is for like a fiction book, but as you can tell, there's like romance, that's a category, but then you can go a little bit deeper and do action and adventure under romance, right? You can do science fiction and fantasy and then go to science fiction and then genetic engineering, right? There's a lot of different categories and then subcategories. You're going to want to pick the ones that are resonating most with your book, but also not oversaturated, so that you never move up the Amazon ranking list, okay? Then launch and market. The biggest mistake you can make on this journey is believing that by the time you put it on Amazon, that the book will just market itself. That is not true. There are over 5,000 books being published every single day. So you got to be intentional about getting your book in front of the people that need to see it most. So show it on social media, talk about it in your local community, get people that that back you up to share your book. But you want to launch and market it like it's going out of style. Market it, market it, market it. This is extremely important in order to continue to maintain, first to continue to move up the Amazon ranking list, but to also to continue to maintain it. Overall, becoming a best-selling author is well within your reach, and I want you to understand that, and that's why I did this brief share, so that you can understand that if you take that next step to write your book and then move into that next step to take the steps that you need to take to become a best-selling author, you will ultimately change your life. While it may feel like a lot of work, it is totally worth it to ensure that you stand out as an amazing author, which I know that you are. So I'm gonna let you dive in and get started. And until next time, I will chat with you guys later. Have an amazing day.